Hi everyone, very good evening. So we are all set for another session. So more people are joining now. So what we'll do is we'll wait a couple of more minutes. And until then, if there are any questions, we have Praveen sir here. We have the expert trainer Deepak Chaudhary here with us today. And if you have any questions until now with respect to any sponsor or anything else that you have already started working on, then you are free to just put the question on the chat or in the Q&A section and we'll address it. Praveen sir, so what I would like to request you, first of all, thanks for joining again. And what I would like to request you is if there are anything that you would like to share with the students, because I know a lot of things have been going on for the back in the background, and we are coming up with another on-ground Hackfest very soon. But other than that, for the students to, as they are about to jump into module 3, like they are just a few sessions more away before they start building. So anything, any vital inputs you would like to share with them, some preparatory, assignments or tips that they should know before they jump into the module 3 of IBC CEP April edition.
Hey Deepak, yeah. Hi, good evening guys, all of you.
Good evening, sir.
It's wonderful to see all of you. We will be starting the session in a few minutes, but more importantly, uh, we have had so many interesting sessions so far, and today what we are going to be, you have got a very good idea about the Rust language as such, right? Now, the point is that how do you use that Rust in Substrate? Now, that is something which is going to be the core of the whole learning that you have had so far, right? So the objective that we have in our mind, which we want to cover today, and one more session is the utility of Rust in Substrate, right? Now, as you know, Substrate is a framework which is used by Polkadot for building building layer 1 applications and layer 1 chains, to say so. And the Substrate is the prime. I would say the Substrate is the prime tool for doing that. Correct. So what Deepak Chaudhary will be trying to do today, he will be basically trying to connect your learnings, what you have had so far in Rust, and merge that with Substrate. I think that is going to be a very crucial session because until you are able to connect these two things, you won't be able to utilize your Rust knowledge in building the application there. So in my opinion, today's session is going to be very, very important session. So please pay your attention to this and make it interactive. Chaudhary is here, and Chaudhary has been a very keen developer in Polkadot subsystem. So he comes with so much of hands-on knowledge and experience in Substrate. So I think what he will be interacting with you will be very, very, I would say, very, very realistic experience that you may get. And that is coming from a horse's mouth, where he has been himself a developer, and he will share, he will try to enlighten you with his real-time experience. Okay, so I think I am pretty excited about this session. I am pretty excited about your journey so far, and I'm also very keen to see you guys being able to build in Polkadot and make something interesting. Now, you may take time to build something very complex product. Don't worry about that. But then you have to start, crawling and then walking and then running. Okay. So Deepak Singh, I think pretty excited about what's going to happen today. And my only request to all of you would be to engage in the session. Don't make it monologue. Don't make it just Deepak Chaudhary coming and talking and going. Then you will not be able to get the best out of it, right? So please engage in the discussion, and Deepak Chaudhary tried to make it as interactive as possible, so that people are getting the best out of what effort they are spending here. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Praveen sir. So guys, as sir has mentioned, and what we have been reiterating the entire time is that this module 2 is basically the foundation setting agenda for module 3, which is where you start building. So today's session is equally important as compared to the other workshops that we have had in the past week. So try to get the most out of it, so that once you start building, you'll have a majorly you'll be clear as to which direction you are heading, so that even the doubts that start coming to you at that point will make sense. Otherwise it'll be, you'll be like headless chicken if you're not seeing, or you don't have an idea as to where exactly you are starting to work, and how exactly you will execute a certain task, right? So start with the session after Radha. So just to give some context, we have had 2 sessions on Substrate from Mr. Radha Krishna, who was from Polkadot. And now, in continuation to that, we have Deepak Chaudhary today. He will be teaching you the fundamental importance of what trust we have learned and how you will be using that in Substrate, right? Deepak, thank you for joining us. I know we had a little glitch with the audio, but I'm glad to see you back. And we are eager to hear from you, and we are eager to learn from you. Let's start the session. Thank you once again.
Yeah, thank you, Deepak. Thank you, sir. My audio is fine, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty much
yeah,
okay.
fine.
Yeah.
No noise, no background noise.
The only person who is making noise is Deepak Chaudhary. So we are good with that.
That's fine. I'm here to make noise. So, guys, as you know, my name is Deepak Chaudhary, and I'm working as a dev advocate in IBC Media. So today I'm not going in depth, very much depth in Substrate, because we have already so much covered in previous 2 sessions. But we'll cover the fundamentals of Substrate, and we have understand some Rust topics, concepts. So how these concepts fit into the Substrate. So we'll see that also. Okay, first let me share my screen. My screen is visible, right? Welcome to Substrate Collectible Workshop.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so we'll walk you through this workshop. This workshop is given by the Radha. So I'll walk you through step by step. Okay. So first, let's go to this. Okay. First, to test and try something, we need to set up our environment, right? So for setup, just click on this link. Let me paste this link in the chat box.
So, Deepak, I'll just put a quick note for everyone. So, guys, irrespective of the track that you have received, the sponsor that you have been allocated, doesn't matter. You should try your hand definitely at the things that we are discussing here. It'll give you a lot of context also, because most of the languages will be similar and you'll be working in the similar ecosystem. So it's always good to get hands dirty with whatever we are training you over here. Yeah. So make sure everyone tries their hand on this. Yeah, Deepak, please.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so you got this link. Okay, let's start with the installation part. First, we need to install the Rust. I think most of you have installed it, because we have covered this in the Rust sessions. And if you haven't done this, let me show you where you can do this. Just go to this link and install, and just run this command and you are good to go. Okay. This step is to install the Rust. Then we'll see the installation of Substrate in our system. Let me paste this link also. install for okay. Now that you have Rust in your system, then we are good to go to the installation of Substrate. Okay, in Substrate we have like 3 options for different operating systems, for Linux, for Mac OS and Windows. For Linux and Mac OS, the things are pretty much same, but in Windows we need one more steps. We'll see what that step is. Okay, we'll cover this one by one. First, we'll go to the Mac OS. And yeah, these are some prerequisites your system need to have. Like these are simple things. Version should be 10.7 and processor speed should be 2 gigahertz. RAM should be 8 GB. And your system needs to support the Apple M1 chip. Okay, if your system fulfills these requirements, then you can run this command, proto buf. Okay, open the terminal and just paste terminal guys. Let me open my terminal and paste this link and press enter. I have already installed in my system, so I'm not going to install this again. Okay. Okay, now after that you need to install Homebrew. Homebrew basically does for Mac OS is installation of different libraries. For that we use Homebrew. So for installation of Homebrew, you need to run this command. Okay, just copy by this and paste it here, and you are good to go. And for checking the version, let me check my version also. You should see this type of message. You can see here also, right? If you see this type of message, then your brew is successfully installed. If not, then there should be some error or something. Okay. After that, you need to install the OpenSSL. This is used to provide cryptography and for validation of transaction signatures, right? So for that, what you can do is you can update the brew like we just install the brew, so we do not need to update this. And to install the OpenSSL, just copy this command and paste here. Okay. After that, you need to install the rustup by using this command. What rustup is? Rustup is used to install the libraries of the Rust. And what rustc is a compiler. Okay. Now that after that, you need to add the cargo by using this command. Okay. After doing all these steps, you can see the rustc version. Okay, you should see this like this type of message like rustc 1.68 nightly. What nightly is? Nightly is used to target the wasm into the development environment. Okay, we'll need to add the nightly also. For adding nightly, you need to add run this command, rustup target add wasm, this command. Okay, after this you can see your installation is done or not. You should see this type of message. Okay, I have already shown you. I am seeing this type of message here. Okay, our installation process for Mac OS is completed. Let me just Deepak Singh, please let me know if there is any noise behind me.
There is a little bit, but we can hear you clearly. So please continue. Can you hear me, Deepak?
Is it fine now?
Yeah, it's fine.
Hello.
I mean, you can continue. Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I'm.
Okay, great. Please continue.
Okay. After that, you need to install the CMake. This is the last step. Brew install CMake. That's it. Okay. For Mac OS, it's complete. Let's jump into the Windows. Okay. For Windows, you need to set up the window for WSL. What WSL is? Windows Subsystem for Linux. We can't run Substrate in default Windows system. Okay, so we need to install a Windows subsystem for Linux. Okay, for that, these are some prerequisites. These are simple things. Windows 10 and good connection. These are simple things. You can read about this. Okay, to set up Windows subsystem, you need to run this command WSL install. This command will take some time, and after run this command, you need to shut down and sign out and click restart. After restarting, again, this will take some time and your WSL is completely installed. Okay, now your WSL is complete. Then you need to go to the terminal and type WSL and enter. After pressing enter, your terminal becomes the Linux terminal. Okay. Now you can run all the Linux command here. Okay. Now next step is to install the same thing, protobuf, rust up, what we have installed in Mac OS, and include the cargo. These are same thing, and here also they are checking the Rust C version, right? And after that, you need to add the wasm and then verify it by this command. And then you are good to go. Same command you need to use for Linux, because now onwards your terminal is become the Linux terminal, right? So Linux command is also same. Okay, our installation part is finished. If anyone has any doubt, so you can ask.
We are not seeing any question yet, Deepak. If there's anything, we will prompt.
Okay, good.
So, guys, if there's any doubt, just drop a quick query in the chat box. We'll address it. And even if for example, if you're doing it right now, okay. So we have some question. Okay, in the Q&A, Deepak, you can check it.
Yeah,
So there's one question. Yeah. Will WSL take long time for Linux, same as Windows? Yeah, just please check that.
Yes. WSL take long time. It's depend on your system, right? So I have worked on i7, so it takes around 15 to 20 minutes, right, to install the WSL. So it's depend on your system. But old CPU, so you can expect 30 minutes to install the WSL, maximum 30 minutes. For Linux, same as Windows. For Linux also, you can, let me just, for Linux also, we have all the steps here. Shall I used it in VM? You can use it in VM. It's perfectly fine. But in VM, the speeds will be slow because we need to compile the substrate node. So it takes a lot of time and a lot of processing power. So if you are using VM, so it might take some around 1.5 hours to compile the node. Any other doubt? Okay. Okay. After installing this, we need to clone this repository. Okay, git clone means it's type of downloading this file into our system. Let's just see what is this link and what is there in that link. Okay, you can see this is the node template we will be using. Okay, here you can see the default palette. I think this palette is also run by the Radha in the previous session. This is the default palette. So first we need to clone this and then run. For cloning, we use this command git clone, and you can cd. Let me just make one new folder. Okay, go to the download cd. Let me okay. Now I think it might rename. Just name the folder in continuous, right? It might cause an error on building. Okay, after go to the directory, just copy this command and paste it. Okay. Now what this is saying is replace the content of palette template lib.rs with an empty palette template. You can see this template. This is the structure of a template. If we want to do anything in the palette, this is the structure we need to follow, right? So let me just go to the default palette and I can show you new project, not new project, open, download, Substrate sessions. Okay, now you can see our default this, right? Let me okay, let's compare this with empty structure. This is the empty palette template, and we have done some work in this, right? So you can see this is same, and here is also same. Just forget about these lines. This mock test and benchmarking, we'll see in future what is this. And then we are defining the palette. These are the macros, these things. Okay, we'll discuss these, what are macros, what are traits, right? And you can see we are defining the config trait here also, and then events, then follow the errors, then some dispatchable functions. Yeah, so this is the default structure of palette. You need to follow this and use it according to your use case. Okay, just go to next. So next is what is Substrate. We have discussed this many times, so I'm not going to in depth in this. So it's basically a framework for developing our custom blockchain. It is built in Rust and use WebAssembly for some key defining features, like WebAssembly compatible enables provability, verification, and upgradability of runtime. It also provides a way to write runtime logic using pallets and writing frames. So what frames are? Frames is a collection of pallets, and pallets, you can say it's a library which contains a code according to your use cases of your project, right? Let me see the question. Is it really necessary to download? Yes, you need to download this. In Playground, Radha also said only 5 people can work together, otherwise it will crash. So you need to download this. Okay, now what is frame? I've just said frame is a collection of pallets, and each pallets alone provide a way for account and other pallets to interact with them. Let me show you where pallet exists. GitHub. There it is. So you can see here the frame, and you can see these are the pallets, by default pallets, which Parity has already built. So we can directly use this pallet in our system or in our project, right? Just let me like this balance. Okay, to transfer, let's see this dispatchable functions. We can transfer the balance to one account to another account. So for that purpose, we can use this balance palette in our repository, right? Okay, in frame we have two things: frame system and frame support. So frame system, what it does is it provides all core system functionalities for integrating a palette into a runtime and enabling palettes to interact with each other, right? And frame support, it provides a palette with a way to create dispatchable calls, storage capabilities, events, and errors. So it's basically provides the support for the palettes, and it provides the functionality to integrating the palettes. Okay, let's just see what is this. A palette provide you a way to specify storage item for your blockchain, specify some callable functions. Callable, what are callable functions? Callable functions are these: cause error, do something. These are the callable functions. If we need to transfer some funds to another account, so we need to call a function like transfer. So that transfer function is a callable function. Okay, just let me go to the next one. Okay, now these are the types which we have already understand or cover in our rush session. So I'm going to ask you what you understand by the enums. Can anyone come and tell? We have already discussed all these topics in the session. Guys, come on. This is a simple thing. Okay. We have one, it's a user defined You can say that, but it's also by default. Both has enumerated the output by arranging them. Not really, Mario. But yeah, you can say that. Any other? Just simple. What you understand by this name enum? Okay. Set, not really. Enum, you can say that if you have several options, so we use enum. Like here also, in direction, we have 4 options: up, down, left, right. So we have 4 options, so we can use enums. Like in Rishin sessions, Rishin has used enum for I think a rectangle, for length and width, I think it. Okay, so if you have some option, so you can use enum. Okay, now second is struct. What do you understand by this name struct? Good one. Struct means structure. Good. Yes, that's correct, Mario. Yes, all of you are correct. So it allow you to get together various different types into a single object. Like here, we have defined a structure, my object, and we are defining 3 parameters. In first, we are defining a U8 of 16 size, and then field 2 is defining an option. Can anyone tell me what option are? What option is? Quick. What option is? And what value contains, what option contains what? It contains two things. What are 2 things? Let me. I'm asking in general. Here it is defining U32. I'm asking in general. No, I'm asking. Yes, okay. Dinesh. So what are the 2 things that option contain? Some or none? Yes, that's correct. It contains some. If there is any value, so it returns some, and if there is nothing, so it returns none. Okay. Yeah, we'll use this with match functions. That's correct. Okay, now we are defining field 3 as direction enum. So these all 3 are different types. So we are aggregating those 3 in a one structure. Okay, now we'll see drive attributes. Just a minute. So we have to manually implement some various traits for custom types, but we have already some types which is recognizable by Rust compiler. That is encode, decode, type info, and max encoded length, runtime debug, and many other also. So what encode does is it serializes the custom type. This is used for deserializing, and it provides information to the runtime metadata. Runtime metadata is as data to the data, right? For palette to compile the node, we pass a metadata of palette to the runtime. Okay, so max encoded length, it ensures that type in the runtime are bounded in size. Okay, runtime debug, it allow to print to the console, useful for test, right? And we have also equal and partially equal. If we need to check two types, two custom types, so we need to use these attributes, equal or partially equal. And these attributes we have already discovered, copy and clone. It allows us to duplicate the value. So we are adding this attribute here, here on the above of this structure definition. So now these features is accessible by this structure. If we want to compare any field value, this value to any other, by this definition, we can't do this. But now we have described or defined the partial equal or equal. Now we can compare the value of this structure parameters. Right? Any doubt in this? Okay, let's just go to the next one. That is trait. Okay, quick. What is trait? Okay, any other? Config definition, yeah, you can say, but you are specifying the functionality of trait. Any other? Okay, it's a collect defined set of functions. Yeah, you can say it's a collection of methods. Okay, so like here we have defined the opposite. So we can use this trait for structure also, for other enum also, right? So if we want to use a particular function for different types, so we can define a trait for that, right? Okay, let's see what we have done here. There is an enum of direction, and we have defined a trait opposite, and we are implementing this opposite for this enum, opposite for direction. And we need to define this function. So self is indicating all the parameters of direction, up, down, left, right? So what this match function match does is it match the self to the all the directions and return the opposite one. If it is up, then return the down. It is down, then return up, right? Likewise for all. Okay, so with this trait implementation, this assert is used for testing purpose. Okay, what we are doing here is direction colon left, and we are calling the opposite function, and this should be equal to direction colon right, right? Because this left dot opposite returns the right. Okay. Now, what are the advanced traits? Let's see. In custom palettes, if we need to define a custom palette, so we need to use a trait config, which allow us to define the types and interface that your palette depend on. So this config trait we take from frame system, and after implementing this config trait, we can use like this: T colon account ID. T is generic. We'll discuss in next generic is. So we can access account ID and block ID and any other field by this T dot block ID, block number, block ID, account ID. We can access by this. Okay. So you can see here we have defining a config trait, and we are taking this from frame system, and we are defining some types, right? Currency, max value, randomness, and this currency types is already defined in the config trait, so we are just importing that. Okay, so we do not need to implement types for all the variables. Okay, just go to the generics. So generic is also is one of the most common first challenge for new developers. Like we will understand this by an example. Okay, so what we are doing here is we are defining the account type of U8, and it should be of maximum 32 length. Okay, after using the trait in config trait, like we have defined accessing this by T dot account ID, T dot block number. Okay, so this account ID and block number should be in config trait, and how this look like is this trait config, and there it is the definition of account ID and block number. Okay, so for generic we are using T colon account ID. Now this T has all the access for all the parameters of config trait, right? So we are accessing T colon account ID. Okay, why we are doing this such complex thing here? Because let's take an example. For example, in Substrate, most addresses are 32-byte public key, right? But what if you want to make an Ethereum compatible Substrate chain? You have hard-coded type into your code. Rust would only ever let you use 32-byte address. Like we have hard-coded here, the length would be maximum 32, right? So with generic, you can actually write palette which supports both 32-byte Substrate address or 20-byte Ethereum address, right? You could have a blockchain where a block number is U32 or where the block number is U64, right? For using the generic, we use colon or this thing, this symbol. We can use either of this. Okay, let's go to the macro. Okay, macro provides a powerful tools, like it can provide a piece of line, a thousand line of code and a function. So it depends on macro to macro. Okay, like one most important thing, just read this. You should not spend your early days in Substrate trying to understand all of them, but rather just use them to make development faster. As you learn more and more about Substrate, you can then start to investigate exactly what these macro do for you and really come to appreciate how awesomely powerful they are. Okay, so do not feel like if you are at this stage you don't know the much about the macros and all other types. So don't think ki you can do much in Substrate. You can do. We can say, but it's not. There's something which is different from function. You can say same as function, but there's some additional feature in macro. Okay, so how to use this? We'll use by hash, putting the hash. This is the attribute macro, and this is the function like macro. If you remember, we have used a println macro, right? In Rust sessions, we have used function like macro there. Okay, so here we are checking this condition. If this condition is true, then return error. Okay. So what are the common palette macros? This is also attribute macro. Now here also we are defining a frame support palette with a macro. And you can see that each section for defining the palette, for defining the config trait, for events, errors, and dispatchable functions. So we are defining a macro which does special things for that session. This literally expand thousands of lines of code. Let me, bro, this thing I have already, if you see this, if you all understand this line, macro depends, it depends on macro to macro. It can work as a function, but it's depend on other macro, right? You need to go to the implementation of macro, what you need to understand more. Okay, let me tell you one thing. Frame support. Like if you need to know more about frame support and like Azure okay, Azure no, all the things, you can refer this link. You will get the in-depth knowledge of how this is implemented, and also for macro you can refer this link. Let me just paste this. Oh my god. Okay, so let's get back to this. So what are the blockchain limits? Let's read this. All blockchain, even those built with Substrate, fundamentally have limits. Like each block can only take so long to produce, what time it take to produce, and each block can only be how much long, how much big. Each block can only grow your state by so much. So when doing contract development on a platform like Ethereum, the EVM act as a limiter for what kind of logic you can run. And in EVM, we call it gas limit. And here in Substrate, we are saying it weight, right? So Substrate gives you a full access to write code as you like. However, the great power comes great responsibility. Rather than have something like EVM meter, you can your every line of code. Substrate allow you to benchmark your own code ahead of time, which is more efficient. Like I have shown you one file that is benchmarking.rs, right? So this is the file which actually finding the weight for your all the callable functions. And after benchmarking this, we put this into the above of callable functions. Okay, substrate function of gas is called weight. Okay, and let's see, is any other blockchain scope? Okay, so what are the runtime limits? So we can take example of bounded WAC. So we are defining, let's take an example and understand. We are defining the maximum limit of 100 line or 100 words, right? So in here, we are defining my item in bounded vector of 100 times. So this vector can hold maximum of 100 items. And we cannot change this bounded vector, but we can change this vector, right? We can push. So to analyze this bounded vector, like we don't know like what step we are. We are at first step or 15th step or 99th step or 115th step. So we need to check at every step, like, are we under the limit or not? So for that, we check by this try push. We are trying to push the element, and if this is full, then the error should be happen that this vector is full, and this question mark returns the error. Okay, let's go to the storage. Okay, so in runtime storage, we use some storage like storage value. If we need to store a one value, so we'll use storage value. And if we need to store a key value pair, so we'll use storage map. Let me show you one example of storage value in the default version. Lib.rs. Where it is? Yes, here. We are defining the something, and we are saying that this something will take only U32, right? Also, we can define it by storage map, double map. What double map does is, double map contains two key and one field for value. Two key, one value, right? So here we are defining a storage value of U64, and we are defining the storage map of, this is the key, t dot account, t colon account ID and item, and this is the value. This is the key and this is value. So, and this is used for concatenate the U64 two U64 strings. Okay, so what are the APIs in storage? We have put, get, and kill. If we need to put a value in the storage, so we'll use this. And if we need to get, let me show you this example of get. I think we should have get. Yes, this. Okay, so get is used to get a value from the storage. Okay, for storage map, we have contain key if we need to check like if there is a key which is present in the map or not. So we'll do it by this contain key. And if we need to insert a new item with a key and value pair, so we'll do it by this insert key and the new value. And for getting the value from the storage map, we'll again use the get. And for removing, we use remove and the key. Okay. So this is the thing for today. Now your homework is just go and start this thing and perform these steps. This is the simple steps. Like you need to copy this and paste, copy this and paste. Okay. If you do this, then you will understand much more in depth in next session. So please follow these steps and perform this workshop. If anyone has any doubt, so you can ask. I don't see any doubt. So Deepak Singh, where to get the workshop related material? So you have all material here. You don't need to go anywhere. You will find all this thing in this link only. Do you have the link in this link? Let me again paste this link. Okay. Just let me show you where to put. You can see we need to put this thing in the trait config, right? And where trait config is here. Sorry, this is the event here. So after paste this, let me and remove this one and paste this. Right after paste this, you can recheck here like how your template will look like. You have add only the config trait. Other macros are still empty. Same thing you need to do for custom types and custom storage. Just a minute. Workshop link. Okay, so this is it from my side today.
Hey Deepak, once again, thank you for the amazing session. Did I see someone else say something? Okay, I think not. Yeah, so we have one question from GitHub. Do I have to paste all the codes to run the pilot program?
From GitHub, do I have to paste all the codes? From GitHub, if when you clone the repository, so you will have all this code with you. I've shown you by cloning the repository, I got this code with me. And after cloning this, you just need to fill these macros. And how these macros will fill, these steps are there, how to fill this.
All right. So I don't see any more questions here. Yeah. So guys, the homeworks that have been given by Deepak, try to do that. Get your hands dirty, as Praveen sir always says. Practicing is the best way that you can test what you have learned here, and at the same time, get to explore and try out something new other than what we have learned here. It's always good to just check out different stuff. And at the same time, if there are any doubts, you know where to reach us. You just drop us a query on Discord and we'll address it. As far as yeah, so one thing as we always mention is that please go and register your teams on events.ibc.media. Let me paste the link once again. So this will help us give you the tracks. And once you have done that, even if you are an individual, or let's say you are a team of two, you need one more, because three is the number that we have limited. You can't be two, you have to be three, or you don't have to be four, you just have to be the member of three teams. So if you are looking for a team member, we will help you out in connecting with them. We see some queries coming in on Discord in the team formation where somebody is looking for team of, people are looking for team members. We are helping you out. We are trying to connect you with different teams, and our team is working in the backend for the same. So don't worry, if you have put a query, we will be helping you out in every way possible to get you the right amount of team members. So make sure you do register on the teams, your team, and enter the details of your team members, because that's absolutely necessary for us to track who all are participating, because that information becomes extremely crucial, especially during the prize distribution once you complete the challenges, right? Okay. Any other doubt if you have, you guys have, then please let us know. We'll keep the call open for another minute or so. Otherwise, we are good to go. And feel free to put your questions in the Q&A or chat. And if there's anything else we can help you out with, then we'll definitely do. Otherwise, we'll be closing for the day. Guys, make sure that you, as we have already mentioned, make sure that you do practice what you learn here. Otherwise, all the sessions will become redundant. Theory is of no use when you are building and developing. So that is the most important aspect of this entire exercise. How to register a team is a question. Okay, so I have put on Natarajan, I have put a link in the chat box. Just go and put in the details of your team. Let me share my screen and give you a quick overview of the same. Let me just share my screen 1 second. Okay. Yeah, so as you see here, we have this events.ibc.media link that I have already put in the chat. And you will find this page. Now, since I've already logged in, that will be the problem, but I think the session would have expired. So let me just log in again. So if you haven't signed up yet, go and register yourself, and then try to log in. You'll get, it's a simple verification process. Once you've completed that, just log in. I'll use my email. Media. I am not a robot. Yeah, so I've already showed this multiple times. That's why it's saying view application. Otherwise, it would say apply here, right? So these are some information that you'll be putting: your name, your contact number, and the details, some basic other details, right? You'll go and complete all this information in your organization. You'll put the college name, domain as education, technology. We're learning about blockchain. If you have some experience, you can put it. Otherwise, you can put 0. And then there are some skills that if you have, then please put it over here. So you can choose these options. Now, if you are a hacker with a team, you have a team of 3 people, then you will choose this option. If you are a solo hacker who's looking for a team, you'll be opting for this option. And if you are a hacker who's, a team of 2 and you're looking for more members, then you'll choose this 4th option. Now, this option you see, solo hacker who doesn't need a team, is basically the option which developers who are already building on IBC, they would be choosing this. So this is not for the students who we are working with in IBC CEP. So you'll have to ignore this option. So let's say I choose hacker with a team recruiting more members. Let's say I would put solo hacker looking for a team. Over here, I'll go and put the team name, member count. If I'm single, then I'll put 1. And I'll just put other details. Where did I hear about it? You can say you are from Chennai, Hyderabad, Vizag, or internet, email, website, friend, whatever. You can choose that. And over here, you will be adding the team details. You'll add, like for example, I've put Praveen Thakur, Abhishek Pitti. You can put your details as well here. If you are multiple members team and one of you has to register, so the person who's registering has to put his detail, his or her detail, and at the same time add the details of other members as well. So for example, you'll put your name. Let's say I am registering for myself and my team members, right? So I'll put my name, my contact number, my email. You can put the LinkedIn profile, that's optional. And then you'll click add. Once you click add, the information will be updated here, right? So that becomes my information. So similarly, I will put the details of my other team members, whoever I am working with. If you're just a member of one, and if you have chosen that option, then you can just let it be. We will helping you out in getting more members. Or if you have, let's say, a member of 2 or 3, then you will be adding the details of each member as well. So that's how the database is maintained. So just one person in the team has to do the registration because that will help us get the data. Don't duplicate the data. If you put same team name in and multiple people are making entries, then that's just, we should avoid that. Over here, if your track has been allocated, then that's fine. Otherwise, just choose the track of your choice. We'll try to see if the tracks are available and the tracks that you choose, if they are available for allocation, then well and fine. Otherwise, we'll be allocating the track for you from our own end, right? Okay, so Notion resources is one page that you all should definitely go and check out. This is where you'll get to know about the information of our sponsors and the prices that we have in store. They have in store for you. So I'll just put this. Okay, I think yeah. So check out the sponsor detail. Price and resources here, right? So I've put the Notion page. Let me paste the registration link as well. So you can go and you can check out any of these sponsors. Now you can avoid IBC if you want. You can go here, but at the same time, we will be helping you build. We have price pools, and we are helping you build in the tracks here. This is basically for people who are directly coming in and building something. So in your case, you can stick only with Polkadot or Chingari or Unique. So this is for people who have not been allocated track yet. So if you're new, you'll be choosing one of these 3 options: track 1, track 3, and track 4. Inside, you'll get the details of the price pools. They have some serious price pools. If you see, there's a price pool worth 8,21,600, which is subject to the prices of the tokens at that particular point, and obviously the conversion rate with dollars. So some little bit here and there, but that's what the price pool you're looking at. And similarly for Polkadot, we have a massive price pool of over 72 lakhs, right? And similarly for Chingari, we have a price pool of over 2 lakhs, close to 2.5 lakhs. So just go and check out these sponsors. That will give you a little excitement as to what you're learning is seriously worth considering and working hard on. So make sure you go and learn the maximum from your end. Okay, so with that, this is the resources. Do register your teams and you'll be good to go. I don't see any other questions here. So guys, that's it for tonight. Have a great night and keep working hard. And if you have any doubts, any queries, then reach out to us on Discord. And other than that, just remember that the more you work, the more you test your skills, the more knowledge the more you test what you have learned here, the better you'll be at developing. I guess that's about it. Let me just get a quick scan if there's any other question. I guess not. Yep. Thank you, everyone. It was great to once again thank you, Deepak, for such a wonderful session. It was super interactive. I myself had a lot of fun seeing you display some really interesting stuff to the students, and students also have taken a lot of interest. So I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of interest in what they have learned here. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. It was wonderful to have you all. And until next time, which will be very soon, you'll be getting the links for the next session very soon. Thank you once again. Have a great night. Have a great day tomorrow, and so forth. Thanks.